On this channel, we typically look at pedals. Today we're going pedal adjacent with this fancy new WS-100 digital wireless system from Lekato. So right up front, let's do a little A/B testing with a regular physical cable going between the guitar and the amp, and then we'll bust out the wireless system to see if there's any perceptible difference. So that's the up close test, and the way these work is you've got a transmitter and a receiver. You can see that they're marked, and mine arrived pre-paired, so I didn't have to do anything. To use these, you just flip the switch on the side until they're paired, just like that, and then you plug one into your guitar and the other one into your amp or pedal board. And when they're not in use, they live in this charging box, which has a rechargeable battery of its own. You get 5 to 6 hours of battery life on each one of these and 2 full charges out of the box. Not bad at all. That was test number 1. Sound quality is good. Test number 2 is the distance test, and for that, I brought in my pal Kyle. We put the transmitter in his Strat, the receiver in my Positive Grid Spark, and I sent him out into the hallway to put some distance between them. These are advertised as having a range of about 100 feet, and that's pretty much what we saw. They operate in the 2.4 gigahertz range, and ideally you want the transmitter and the receiver to be in the same room, but we're here to put these to the test, so that's what we did. Occasionally, we would have the signal drop out, but only at pretty far distances or when there were heavy walls or floors obstructing line of sight. Now is probably a good time to also point out that the transmitter will stay firmly in place even under heavy trampolinic activity. I think the real benefit of these things is that you have one less wire running across the floor. You don't have to worry about it getting tangled or damaged or accidentally unplugging in the middle of a song. Or it's also nice for just around the house. You can have your amp in one room and you're relaxing on the couch, and you can play, practice, or write without a 1/4-inch cable running across the living room floor where someone can trip over it. Once we got out past 100 feet, the signal was dropping out pretty regularly, but I don't think I've ever used a cable longer than like 25 feet. So realistically, these ought to do. And I told Kyle he should turn around and come back, but he insisted on walking just a little bit further, something about wanting to conduct an additional test. The man takes his job very seriously. One thing to keep in mind when you're thinking about wireless range is that if you're using pedals, you probably don't want to be all that far away from them anyway. Besides, I conducted a real-world test with the guys at practice last week, and let's just say they were not all that thrilled about my newfound wireless freedom.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Hey Claude, turn on my flanger.
I'll do it this time, but it's the last time.
Now, the other thing I was curious about is latency. Anytime you're dealing with digital, there's going to be some delay added, and these are listed at 6 milliseconds. Speed of sound is 1 millisecond per foot. So if you haven't been noticing the latency from standing 6 feet away from your amp, then these shouldn't be an issue. Now, when I first got these, I thought that I was hearing latency, but it was just that I was able to move so much further away from my amp that sound was taking longer to get to me. Makes sense, speed of sound, millisecond a foot. The other thing that I feel necessary to mention, this form factor might not sit well with everybody, myself included. On my guitars with bottom jacks, it can kind of swing around and just feels weird. Sometimes it comes in contact with the body. And on my Strat type guitars, it just looks kind of goofy. The quick, cheap workaround though is to get a 1/4-inch TS extension cable like this, and then just clip the transmitter to your strap or something. Modern problems require modern solutions. Now, full disclosure, Lekato reached out to me and asked if there was anything in their product catalog that I would like to try out for a video. And at first I was super tempted by the cowbell. And then my wife reminded me that I actually already have a cowbell. So I went with the wireless system instead. Actually, that reminds me of a really funny joke. What do you get when you take a cow and a horse and bring them into...
Hurry up, they're melting.
All right, well, it looks like Kyle is back and we have some very important business to conduct. So I'm going to wrap things up. This has been the Lekato WS-100 wireless guitar system. We'll get back to pedals for the next video, but I really hope you enjoyed that. We had fun. I'll catch you on the next one.